I was struck by some of the comments that Mr. Cunningham made there. I mean, he kept talking about this is just a story. It's based on fact. It's based on history. It's based on historical fact. Let's just look at some of the historical record in relation to this individual. He was convicted of causing an explosion. He was convicted of conspiracy to murder. He was convicted of possession of explosive substances with intent. He was convicted of belonging to a prescribed organisation. He was convicted of having a firearm with intent. He was convicted of possession of a firearm and ammunition. And yet, you have Mr. Cunningham there who claims that he's just telling an historical story. But if you look at the narrative, which is on the website of the play, the website of the theatre, describing the play that is to be staged there, it says that this country lad is a heartbreaking. This play portrays this country lad in a heartbreaking and honest way, and the story of Martin Hurson begins with his arrest and brutal interrogation in Omagh Barracks. The story of Martin Hurson did not start with his arrest. It started with his offences. And Martin Hurson, whatever you think, whether the playwright wants to dispute the convictions or not, the fact of the matter is that by the fact that he got involved in the hunger strike, he aligned himself with the Provisional IRA by his own actions and by his own conduct. And if you look at what the IRA did inside ABC Council area where this play is being staged, I just take one very small area where I live myself in Dromore. A few weeks ago, while wearing another hat as district chaplain for my Orange Lodge, I had the privilege of taking an Orange Victims' Day remembrance service. And as part of that service, we read the Roll of Honour of the people inside our district, just inside a very small area in ABC Council area. We read a Roll of Honour of people who had been murdered, predominantly by the IRA, in that area, and those who had relatives who had been murdered and now live in the area around Dromore. We filled a full page of victims of the IRA. And if you want to tell the story in an honest way, if you want to portray history, that is the sort of thing that has to be mentioned. If you ignore that, well, you've artistic license to do that. But don't come on and tell me that you're telling the historical fact. And furthermore, Mr. Cunningham referenced the fact that he's interested in 1916 and in the rebellion. He's written about that. Is he familiar with the works of W.B. Yeats? Because W.B. Yeats, in the years running up to the Easter Rising, wrote a play called Kathleen the Houlihan, which Mr. Cunningham may well be familiar with. But on reflecting on that play after the Rising, W.B. Yeats said, did that play of mine send out certain men the English shot? In other words, did the work that I was involved in result in violence? And I think that's something that Mr. Cunningham needs to reflect upon. It's something that greater artists than him